thank you as always for coming back to the Riggs Beast channel. Let's go beast on that subscribe button. Let's go beast on that like button. And let's go beast on the SmackDown Live review, day 2 of the Superstar Shakeup from Boston, Massachusetts. Now, if you came into the night expecting major shakeup, you were disappointed. Tonight, at least, I guess the rumor mill wasn't 100% correct. We'll get into that. It was a troll job. Before we even get into SmackDown, let's take a step back and let's think about this whole Superstar Shakeup in a nutshell. We talked about this a few weeks ago on the channel. When they do stuff like this, even when they did drafts in brand splits past, they were just mid-card for mid-card, shake it up to create new rivalries in the mid-card scene, and you didn't really see major names change. That's exactly what you got here. Nothing has changed. They just called it something different. Now, you still may get a draft this year, and if you do, that's when you may see bigger names change, but expect it to be mid-card for mid-card. So, if you are overall disappointed, don't be, because that's what this normally is. That's all you got, and quite frankly, that's all that should have been expected. Now, there were a lot of people I saw, I don't want to say crying, because that's unfair, but complaining that SmackDown Live was left bare with Bray leaving and Dean leaving and The Miz leaving, and just told everybody to relax. Styles was still there. You still had Randy Orton, and you knew you were getting more guys. So they opened the show with the face of America, the now shaven face of America, Mr. Kevin Owens. And let's just, again, step back for a minute before I get into more of the segment. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, another man to be named later. SmackDown Live, at least in the single scene, is just fine. Now, Kevin Owens comes out. First thing he says, this is the new Kevin Owens show. Him being there himself gives SmackDown a huge upgrade. He's correct. He actually gets Boston to boo him simply by saying he is from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So apparently, if you're from Canada, get lost in America. Sometimes you gotta love wrestling crowds. Starts going on that Canada is better than America. He gets the USA chant that way. How come a lot of times the US champion has to do this? Do we always have to do this? Always? Every once in a while, can we stray from this? Owens actually then starts speaking French. He then translated to anyone who has a problem with it, get in the ring with him. Out comes Baron Corbin, which is interesting. They put Corbin back in a major scene. Corbin says that Owens could beat up probably all of the crowd and most of the men in the locker room, but he can't beat him up. He starts making the connection that if he beat Dean Ambrose last week and Dean Ambrose beat Kevin Owens on Raw, he can beat Kevin Owens. He goes to challenge Owens for a U.S. title match. Out comes another Raw guy. Are you ready for this one? Nobody knew this was coming. Welcome Sami Zayn to SmackDown Live. This was the absolute one move that needed to happen. Everybody knew this needed to happen. Sami Zayn says a couple words. Kevin Owens is no, this can't be happening. Once again, go back to a promo in NXT. They will fight forever. They will never be able to get rid of each other. I like that WWE keeps pairing them on the same show. Honestly, they should always be on the same show for both their tenure in the WWE. It just fits the storyline and will always be something they can go back to. Anyway, then AJ Styles comes out. Styles then goes, this isn't a Kevin Owens show. It's not about the lone wolf, or it's not about the underdog from the underground. This is his house. This is the show AJ Styles built. Daniel Bryan comes out. He announces a #1 contendership match for the United States Championship after Kevin Owens faces Chris Jericho Payback, which, we're going to get into something here. The winner of that match is on SmackDown. The loser isn't. So they traded belts. This seriously came off, and this is the only time I'm going to mention it because I mentioned it on Twitter a bunch of times. It's going to come off as a broken record. This whole Superstar Shakeup feels like it was booked in an hour at a bar. First, they wanted to put it off like it was trades. Then it was picking people. Then they talk about on Raw, I wonder what Shane and Daniel Bryan are thinking. Now they're trading titles. They weren't even trading men because the winner of the match comes to SmackDown. Like, the whole thing, if you think about it and try to put it into actual context, makes no sense. None. By the way, Kevin Owens is beating Jericho Payback. They did this just to tie up loose ends as to why Owens is even going to be able to fight at Payback, even though they didn't have to do that with Bray Wyatt, but they felt they had to with Kevin Owens. Once again, jumbled mess. Put it into context. It makes no sense. I will let things go in wrestling because, hey, it's wrestling. But we got to get some things that make actual sense. You are writing a television show. It is based on wrestling, yes, but you are writing a television show. The story should, for the most part, make sense. But I will get off the soapbox. I'll move on with the show. So you're going to get Eric Rowan versus Randy Orton. You had to know something was up with this match. Poor Eric Rowan, he's going to be irrelevant in 2 weeks. Unless he gets moved, which he won't. He's going to be irrelevant. Orton dominates the match. Bray's going to come on the Tron towards the end of it. He's going to say their paths will cross once again. He is everywhere. He is everything. This is nearly a distraction to help Rowan. Rowan's going to hit Orton with the steps. Orton's going to win by disqualification. Rowan's is going to put down Orton in the ring. And that's it. Just a mere tactic to get to Orton to continue the feud. But now that Bray's on Raw, what was a great storyline is dead. It's dead. You know Orton wins. It's unfortunate that this got in the way of what was a great storyline. And really, the WrestleMania match just drove this to the ground, unfortunately. Very disappointed that this is the way it's going to end. Next, you're going to get the Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus American Alpha. You're going to get a debut here. Take a guess who it was. If you didn't watch the show, take a guess. I'll wait. Let's go over the match. It's a back and forth match, just like all of their matches, honestly. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. They're good. But as a watcher, you're just waiting for this to end because you know a new team is coming and you know they're not taking the belt off the Usos here. So towards the end of the match, you get a bulldog off the top. Jimmy Uso breaks it up at 2. Now, both the Usos are going to go for super cedars as the American Alpha's on the outside. They're going to get caught into stereo belly-to-belly suplexes. That was a really nice spot. The end of the match, though, they get the super kick into the splash. The Usos beat American Alpha. You don't get the New Day here. No, no, no. The Shining Stars attack American Alpha. The Shining Stars. Well, let's look at it this way. Because the New Day was announced towards the end of the show. We'll give that away. It was right before the Triple Threat match main event. New Day was announced. So let's break down the tag division. Raw. Hardys, Cesaro, and Sheamus. The Club, Enzo and Cass. Revival. Those are your top 5. SmackDown. American Alpha, Usos, New Day, Shining Stars. Ascension. Those would be your top 5, I guess. Now, I don't think the Hardys are going to tag long, but you tell me which tag division is far superior. Enzo and Cass needed to move here, in my opinion. They definitely needed to move. SmackDown's tag division, even with the New Day, is awful. It is god awful right now. They better figure out a way to build up the Ascension and the Shining Stars fast. The Shining Stars, to me, almost have a chance with a gimmick change and let them perform the offense that they can do and let them be heelish. They have a chance. I almost think the Ascension is dead in the water because of so many stop and starts, to be honest. I don't know if they can be saved. You know, we do run a show here called Let's Talk Wrestling. Perhaps, just perhaps, we can book a way to fix the SmackDown Tag Team Division. Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned. Next, we're going to get Mojo Rawley versus... Now, I had a $10 bet on my Raw review that since Curtis Hawkins showed up on Raw to be the new resident jobber, SmackDown Live needed a new resident jobber, and his name was Jinder Mahal. Well, guess who Mojo Rawley faced tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Jinder, I diet better than everybody else. I'm not on steroids. Mahal, remember, he diets better than you. That's why he has more veins than skin. Remember that. As the needle sticks out of his arse. During this match, Mojo almost runs over Little Nate, Charles Robinson, the referee, because he's an idiot. That's the only way I can say it. I can't stand this guy. He makes no sense. He runs around like an idiot. He is definitely for the kids. Don't get me wrong. He is for everybody under the age of 5. I can't even see a 7-year-old liking him. I'm sure there's a few of them. Anyway, Gronk is at ringside. Jinder gets into it with him. Gronk throws a beer on Mahal. Who cares? Mojo Rawley wins. Great. They reenacted WrestleMania during the Battle Royal. Moving on. Shane McMahon is going to do a State of the Women's Division. He teases the new woman. He invites the entire division out. Now, before he gets to talk, James Ellsworth takes the mic from him. Yep, James Ellsworth is still with Carmella. Yep, that's still a thing. Says that Naomi is a horrible champ and people only tune in to see Carmella and himself. Naomi then grabs the mic, punks out Ellsworth, and gives it back to Shane, who then announces a second-generation female whose father's in the Hall of Fame, Tamina. That's right, Tamina. Tamina's been healthy. Tamina was only used here to troll Boston for Sasha Banks. That's it. That's all. He then announces what everybody knew, which was Charlotte. Sasha's going to stay on Raw. I went over this on Raw. I'm going to be very brief with it again. My worry here is for Alexa Bliss with Sasha on Raw and a pending heel turn. You have Emma, Nia, Sasha, Bliss, Mickie James, Bayley, and that other woman named Dana, plus the impending return possibly of Paige. You still have Summer Rae. You have a potential Asuka call-up, Ember Moon call-up potentially. My worry is that Bliss will get lost in the shuffle because she hasn't had a chance to fully develop enough cachet with the crowd. That is my worry. Now, could I be wrong about it? Sure. That is a concern I have. Bliss is not a big enough name yet, and she can potentially get lost in the shuffle. I want to see where the next 6 months goes with her. I honestly believe and hope that I'm wrong here. I really do. I really hope that I'm wrong. Next, they announced Sin Cara's coming to SmackDown. Why? Why? Just remake the Lucha Dragons. If you were going to put Kalisto on Raw to go into the Cruiserweight division, and you're going to move Sin Cara, and you're really not going to use Kalisto, what makes more sense is they should have just created the Lucha Dragons on SmackDown. Get another tag team that people can get behind. At least it would have been relevant. Another one was Rusev, and now Rusev, just like Sami Zayn, a major need of a change in scenery, fresh feuds for him. He could do great work with a guy like Styles. Well, everybody could do work with Styles, but you could do Styles, Nakamura, get a potential Sami Zayn feud again on SmackDown. There's a lot of good you can do with Rusev on SmackDown. Lana's also coming. Lana's now a burlesque dancer who's going to take the spot, apparently, that Eva Marie's going to void. Great. They're going to ruin Lana. You're going to get Aiden English versus Ty Dillinger next. Ty Dillinger wins. Aiden is heading for obscurity within 2 weeks. Towards the end of the night, you're going to get Dolph coming out. He does a promo talking about the Superstar Shakeup surprises, which at the time you'll feel great. But then as the weeks go by, they'll be less and less exciting, which is absolutely correct. He isn't wrong. That is 100% fact. He's talking truth to you here. Out comes Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, just as excited as I was for the Miz potential feud before he got moved to Raw because Miz can do all the talking, is the exact same thing here with Dolph Ziggler. And since Dolph is staying, this is a nice little quick feud to get Nakamura presented to the mainstream audience. Crowds are going to know him for the most part. Mainstream isn't going to know him as much. Great way to introduce him with Dolph. Dolph will make him look like $1 million, even though Nakamura could do that himself. Adding Dolph isn't going to hurt. Dolph goes to him, "Who do you think you are?" The crowd is chanting loudly Nakamura. It's thunderous. He doesn't have to say a word, honestly. They then start humming his theme song. They're standing there for a good 3-4 minutes. Eventually, Ziggler gives Nakamura the mic. He says, "You want to know who I am?" And then he says, "My name is Shinsuke Nakamura." Dolph looks mad. He goes for the super kick. He gets caught and thrown down. Nakamura does his "come on" gimmick. Ziggler then gets out of the ring. Honestly, if treated correctly, Shinsuke Nakamura is 100% gold. He's a top babyface guy if treated correctly. I also don't believe Nakamura is a guy that needs to be there every week. Treat him like a major attraction, more than Brock, but not every week. I really, truly do not believe he's an every week guy. Could I be wrong? Sure, I don't believe I am, But he doesn't need to be in an every week feud, every pay-per-view. That doesn't need to be Nakamura's thing. It really doesn't. And finally, we get to the main event, the triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the United States Championship after Payback. They start with Styles and Zayn working over Corbin. Corbin eventually overpowers them, suplexes them both to show his power. Baron Corbin got a lot of offense in this match, again, to make him look strong. They are booking Baron Corbin correctly here. They really are. Baron Corbin was never going to win this match. But every time Baron Corbin's in a situation, they book him correctly and make him look strong, even in defeat. They're doing a very good job with him. It's slow, but you can see the rise coming in Corbin. By the way, first night for SmackDown and Sami Zayn is already in the main event. Hopefully, he can be booked relevant on SmackDown, because this is the right move. But it needs to be treated that way. He needs to now be treated as an important piece of the roster. Now, I did note at the beginning of this match that AJ Styles came out wearing his Bullet Club. Well, I'm not going to state the name of the Bullet Club, excuse me. His club attire, which had you think a little bit, well, maybe Anderson and Gallows are going to be here. No. Maybe it was a troll. Maybe those were the only trunks he had tonight. But there was no club reunion, nothing like that. There was a nice spot in the match towards the middle where Zayn is going for a haluva kick. Styles catches him, takes him down, and then Corbin clotheslines him. All three men are down. A little bit later, though, Zayn is going to deliver a absolutely sick Thunderbomb where it looked like Styles got spun twice. He gets a 2 count. This move does not finish a match. Can he hit Jinder Mahal once? Please. Just let him do it once. I mean, do it on Aiden English. He's going to be irrelevant in 2 weeks. Let Sami Zayn beat Aiden English with the blue Thunderbomb, please. Just make me happy. This is a personal thing. Make me happy, WWE. Towards the end, though, Styles is going to hit the 450 on Corbin. It's going to get broken up by Zayn. After this, a kick and clothesline fest breaks out between all three men. Corbin's clotheslining people on the corner. Then that's missed, and AJ starts doing kicks on people. Then that's missed, and Zayn starts doing kicks on people. This lasted about a full minute. I got a laugh out of it. The absolute finish, though. A haluva kick takes Corbin out. Zayn turns around into the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles is the number one contender for the United States Championship. Like I said, no Gallows and Anderson. No club. Kevin Owens is not going to lose to Chris Jericho. AJ Styles is going to be a babyface, and the first feud is going to be with Kevin Owens. They're going to keep him away from the WWE Championship, which is a good idea. Do not rush AJ back to the title. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they put the United States belt on AJ Styles. I really wouldn't. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't have AJ win a title until next WrestleMania. I wouldn't. An entire year, no championships for AJ Styles. Why? To make people like you listening to this podcast mad. To make other internet community fans mad. To make a lot of people who back AJ Styles want it more for him, so when he wins it at an event like, I don't know, WrestleMania, it goes over that much better. So SmackDown tonight, just like Raw, average. It's a 5. You had the Raws and SmackDown after WrestleMania. They were good to a degree. And we're starting to get worse and worse. Now, since this was all about the Superstar shakeup, I will give it a pass in terms of its average. That's why I'm giving it a 5. These same shows happen next week. They're getting 3s. But for tonight, SmackDown's a 5. This show is a perfect 10. And you know what else is a perfect 10? You, the listener. Thank you, as always, for coming back to the Riggs Beast channel. And as always, let's go beast on that subscribe button. Let's go beast on that like button. And as always, guys, keep it beast.